What if optimizing your metabolism was the key to unlocking your best life? Welcome to the Life Possible podcast, where we bring you cutting-edge insights, real-life transformations, and powerful strategies to help you win the fight against obesity and metabolic disease. Join host Dr. John Barnes as he explores the science and stories of transformational metabolic health, because when you fuel your body right, you unlock your greatest potential. From leading experts in nutrition and wellness to inspiring success stories, this is your go-to resource for education, motivation, and empowerment on your journey to a healthier, more vibrant life. Your best life isn't just possible, it's within reach. Let's make it happen together. Here's your host, Dr. John Barnes.
Hey, Ideal Protein Nation. I'm back again, and I feel like it's old school today. Do I really say this every show? I'm so excited about today's episode because I'm reuniting with a friend. I'm reuniting with Sonya Jones. It's going to be so awesome. It's been way too long since we've had a dose of Sonya. So, hey, real quick, just to introduce people who may or may not be new to the show. The Life Possible podcast was created back in 2020 during the pandemic to help to highlight clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have been successful using the Ideal Protein program to reset their body and reset their mind and reset what's actually possible for their life. I started this show back then, and we're now into the 80s with our episodes. We've had a whole lot of fun lately because Ideal Protein has really been helping out lately. We've had some expert guests from the field of ketogenic and low carb nutrition and fitness, in addition to our clients and coaches and clinic owners. But today, like I said, we are going to bring back one of the Life Possible podcast most popular guests by far, Sonya Jones. She needs no introduction. I'm just going to bring her out, and we're just going to get started. Where are you, Sonya?
Right
hey,
here. On.
Hey, and I love the clinic. Look at that.
Thanks. Hey man, this is the OG. This is Litchfield. This is when I started 5 years ago. So yeah, back in our Litchfield clinic, and yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, if you look, man, there's a whole lot more names on the board behind me right now than there was when we started about 5 years ago.
I was literally just looking at that when that photo came up. I'm like, oh my God, those are the things that are right behind her right now. And they're clean at that stage, because this is one of your opening photos, right?
That's right. One of our opening photos. And yeah, we've, as clinics here in Central Illinois and virtually, man, we've lost well over 10,000 pounds. So lots of names on those boards. And
look at that.
Fun.
You can't even hardly see the numbers now when we're looking behind you.
I know.
There's so many signatures on there. That's so great.
So fun. I love it. I love what we get to do. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We have the best job in the world.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. There are some days where I wonder. However, always, invariably, by the end of the day, we have the best job in the world.
Best job in the world, man. Changing lives 1 pound at a time, right?
Yeah. I got to say, and for our viewers and listeners, I wanted to do this show, not just to get back in touch with my good friend, but because I have had a number of people asking me, oh my God, what is Sonya doing? Like, she looks amazing these days. And she truly looks like she's thriving. I had one of my retired coaches come in today. I said, I'm having Sonya on the show today. She's like, oh my God, she looks amazing these days. What is she? I'm like, that's exactly the gist of this show. So we're going to get to the bottom of it, because obviously you found some kind of magic bullet or magic something.
Magic something, that's for sure. Yeah.
So ever so briefly, because there are new viewers and listeners who have not met you yet, and I truly want everybody, if you have not seen episode 23 or episode 44, which is Sonya's magic number, if you haven't seen those episodes, please, I want you to go back and see those, because there is so much motivation. Every time I'm in Sonya's presence, I am inspired, I'm motivated, and connected. So many people connect with your story. So if you can give us just kind of a brief overview of pre-Biggest Loser, Biggest Loser. Yes, she was on Biggest Loser, and then to Ideal Protein.
Sure. So I have struggled with my weight my entire life. I was in 7th grade when a little boy told me I was fat, and I punched him in the face and went on and so on and so forth, and really the next day after that, I started my diet. And it was a lifetime of dieting from 7th grade until 39. And I think I lost the same probably 80 pounds over and over and over again. You'd lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it. And just really struggled with myself, hated who I was physically, thought I had a lot to offer people mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And I was your fun, funny, get it done.
Yes.
Girl, right?
Yes.
So, but I hated who I was physically. Fast forward to 2013, I've always loved the show, The Biggest Loser. I would sit and watch it with a big old pizza and a 2-liter soda, and I would drink, and I loved the show so much. And I actually, I mentioned this before, but in 2009, I wrote a Facebook post called 25 Random Things You May Not Know About Me. And number 10 on that list was I secretly have a desire to be a contestant on The Biggest Loser. Wow. And what's really cool about that is that I posted that Facebook post on January 29th, 2009 at 9:55 p.m. That doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but to me, that is 6 years to the day, the date, the minute, the hour that I was standing on the NBC reality show, The Biggest Loser, for my final weigh-in. So, I mean, just super cool. Only God could have ordained that. And so, yeah, it was there it is, start to finish, right? And I loved the show so much. I loved my experience on it. I have nothing negative to say about the show, but I'll tell you, when I got home from the show, my starting weight was 283, which is great if you're 7'11". My ending weight was 139 pounds, which was 31 pounds underweight, but I was trying to win $250,000.
Right.
And honestly, the show's doctor said, Sonya, you'll never feel good under 170 because I have so much muscle mass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so my happy weight, honestly, my starting weight was 183, ending weight was 139. My happy weight, Dr. H says, should be about 170. I love to live by around 180, 183. Okay. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's when I couldn't even, the
tray table couldn't even come down.
Tray table wouldn't go down in front of me. And so anyway, went on the show, loved it. But when I came home, I really struggled. Now, I am almost 11 years post-show. Okay, I'm 10 plus. When I got back from the show, John, I've been very honest about this. I felt like an addict. I couldn't control my food. I did not know why sugar, why flour, why food had such a hold on me. So I went to therapy because I had 5 million people go on a journey with me, and I didn't want to let them down, and I didn't want to let myself down. And I had to get to the root of what is going on. And, in episode 44, we talked with Julie Ponder about the connection, right? The emotional tie to food, and being able to walk through that, to recognize it, to define it, and then to be able to battle it. And so that's really where the rubber met the road for me. Now, you asked about where I am right now. This morning, I jumped on the scale. I was 182.4 right now. Not everybody comes on your show and blurts out their weight, right? Why do I say that? Because I've been at my goal weight for over a year. And for the first time in my life, I have no fear of regain. And if you know my story at all, you know what a big deal that is. You know that, and for a lot of our clients, a lot of our Ideal Protein family, a lot of people will think, why do I even start this process? Because I'm probably just going to put it on again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to help them recognize, no, this time is different. And we've got, you started asking about the magic bullet, which I know we'll get into. However, it's the first time in my life that I don't have any fear of regain. So with all of that being said, what I'll tell you is that I am thriving. I feel great. I am healthier now than I've ever been. I've got my life aligned I would say pretty much in every area, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. And when you have that,
Right.
when you recognize that that's what true wellness is, why would you
Yeah.
ever go back?
You know, and that's coming, it's literally coming through Facebook. It's literally coming through all of your posts. It's just you're exuding that, and that's why so many people are wondering that I'll have what she's having.
Yeah, right.
Right? But what you just defined, that it's actually a lifestyle, right? Like it's not just a diet, it's not just in the food categories.
Right.
It's all the categories, right?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
if we can get everything kind of heading in the right direction, it creates momentum. That I love the fact that literally for you, you said this on the phone to me the other day. You said, I no longer fear the regain. That is the most powerful statement I've ever heard you say.
Yeah. Well, it's getting into a rhythm. And John, you and I both know this so well because we've seen it with ourselves, but we've also seen it with our clients and those that we love, right?
Yep.
We don't do this because we've signed a $4.4 million contract to do it, right? We
Right.
do this because when people walk through our doors and when they walk out, man, they smile brighter, right? They hold their head high. They have a confidence about them that they never knew could exist. But why is that? That's not because of weight loss. That's because of life transformation. That's because of us being able to help them power their own lives possible.
Yes.
And to figure out what does that look like. I'm on phase Sonya, right? I'm on phase Sonya, and I am, and like Ideal Protein has been the missing part for me for until I found it, right?
Right.
And that's why when I got back from the show, you know, everyone was like, hey, try this, try that, endorse this, endorse that. And I said, you know, I'll try it, but I won't endorse it unless I believe in it 100%.
Well, you know, and again, I love that about you, and our best experts, our best clinic owners, we all do that, right? If we're going to recommend something to somebody, if we're going to endorse something, we do it first.
Yep.
And you know, we feel the feels, go through the things before we ever feel confident or comfortable recommending that to someone else.
Absolutely. I'm not going to put my name on it if I don't believe in it. I'm just not. That's not how I operate. And you know, as I've walked through this, we all know, I mean, Ideal Protein is the best protocol out there, right? I love it. It fuels me. But through the process of Ideal Protein, what I've learned is that the greatest thing about it is that we're able to customize it for everyone, right? So phase one, I tell every client that walks through my door, I don't want you to spend a single penny in my clinic unless you agree and you will partner with me to make a change forever. Because if you drop 44 pounds, if you drop 88 pounds, if you drop 144 pounds, and you start going back to your old lifestyle, there's no reason for it, right? There's no reason for it because it's all going to come back on plus some. So as they get into phase one, so, you know, as we define what their goals are as it relates to a number and how they feel and clothes size and their metabolic health, right?
Yes.
All of that is the stuff that we're striving for. And when they get to a point where they're like, man, I'm feeling great, then we transition into phase two, phase three, phase Sonya, phase John, phase Veronica, phase Lisa, phase whatever. And we help them customize whatever it is that will help them be successful, not just now, but forever. And here's the coolest thing ever. I feel like what we have done so many times is we give up just before our miracle, right? We give up so many times right before our miracle could be just beyond the next threshold, just beyond the next door, right? And so it's almost like we expect to fail because we failed so many times. The only reason why I'm thriving now is because I put in the years of hard work before. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say to all of our clients, don't give up. Don't you give up on your hopes and your dreams and your aspirations. There's nothing worse than falling on your aspirations. See what I did there?
Oh, damn.
I mean, there's just nothing worse. And people expect to fail in this area.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They don't have to.
Nope.
And so as we customize what they get to do every single day, man, we have to figure out what is your routine, right? So like, for instance, you said, what are you doing? And anytime you want to cut me off, you know that you're welcome to.
Well, I will say something, right? So I literally did almost shed a tear. Why do I always cry when I'm
Hashtag shocker.
No, when you said the power of you saying people don't give up just before your miracle.
Don't.
And it's something I've come up against personally,
right?
Very often, right?
Absolutely.
And you'd think you'd learned that lesson the first time, but no. And you get to that point again, and you're ready to just throw in the towel and give it all up, and boom, there's the miracle.
I mean, think about it though. Like if I were to sit back and ask you right now, what is one of the greatest lessons that you've ever learned? There's a very good chance that what you would tell me is about your valley experience, not your mountaintop. It would be about what you learned while walking through the valley and peeling back the layers of what makes John Barnes, right?
Right.
So when we recognize that those valleys are the times when we learn, when we grow, when we expand, when we're uncomfortable. One of the greatest lessons that Jen ever taught me on The Biggest Loser was, man, get uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable. Because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not changing, right?
Yeah.
And so if I had maintained the status quo, if I had just kept going, just normally through life, like I did the first however many years post Biggest Loser, man, I'd still be where I was.
Yeah.
But I decided that I'm done with that. I'm done. But the miracle, you don't know when it's coming.
Right.
But for me, as a person with an eating disorder, with binge eating disorder off the charts, for me to be able to sit back and say with integrity, I don't fear weight gain. I don't fear putting it all back on. That's the miracle. And so for so many of our clients, for so many of the people that we love, that we get to work with every day, we have to stay with them long enough, and they have to stay with us long enough.
Boom.
Recognize, I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to feel like giving up. I know that I'm anticipating failure, but dadgummit, I'm going to face failure in the face, because you don't fail unless you quit. Yes. If you quit, then you fail, right? And then you come back to us in a few years, and what does everyone say? I know it works. It's the best thing out there.
Oh my God, right?
I know it works. So I'm ready to do it all over again. But then you've just given up 2-3 years, 2-3 months of whatever, of building your foundation, right? So you want to build rock after rock after rock and build your foundation so you're strong, and those stepping stones, those blocks are what help you become great, because the biggest enemy of great is good. And we're so used to just being good that we settle for it. Don't ever settle for that. Come back in, get restarted. Let your coach walk you through it. Define, what is phase Sonya? What is phase Lisa, right? What is phase John? What does that look like? And that's a puzzle piece. And it takes us a while to figure it out, but don't stop before you get to your miracle. Don't stop.
Yeah, no. Wow. This is what I've been missing for we can't let that much time go between shows, we do this. And again, it's kind of like Ideal Protein just put out that Find Your Fit, their summer program that they put out there, right?
Huge.
It's and it's very much what you're talking about in finding that fit. And kind of half of the point of the whole thing is it's summer, right? And some people, their fit is, yes, I am in phase 1, and yes, I am losing weight right now. But some people are like, I want to make it through this summer without going off the deep end.
Sure, that's right. Yeah, and we all know phase 1. The goal of phase 1 is to get to your goal weight as quickly and as safely as possible. We can help you do that. That's a piece of cake, right? Yeah. However, when you get past that point, we have to look at your lifestyle, and we have to look at your life regimen. We have to look at your day to day and say, what fits, right? We know there are certain things that are really important to maintaining your lifestyle forever. What is that? For me, it's meal replacements. What is it? It's water, right? It's making sure that when I'm home, so this is kind of my routine. My happy weight, where I love to live, and it's pretty easy for me. I like to live about 183. Okay. Now, your coach, whoever's listening to this, it should be 184, but however, 183 gets me exactly 100 pounds down from the show.
Gotcha. Oh, I love it. There's always a numerical significance with it. There is always.
Yeah. So when I get to 183, I just live there, right? Yep. What does that look like for me? It looks like I do the same routine when I'm home. So, because if I can just do it and not think about it, it's really easy. So in the morning, what do I have every morning? I have coffee with protein shake, our ideal protein shake every morning, right? I nurse that until, what's that?
Breakfast of champions.
Breakfast of champions. I nurse that pretty much all morning because I don't really think of food until maybe 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock, right? I just don't think of it. I'm busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then when I get hungry, let's say it's 2:44 p.m. in the afternoon, right? Then I will have typically my first meal replacement. So maybe I'll have salted caramel clusters, or I'll have a wafer, or I'll have, a bag of popcorn, something like that. And that lasts me until dinner. What's dinner? It's still a lean protein and veggies. What's my snack? I'll have 1 or 2 meal replacements in the evening, and that's my life, right? Because when I'm home, that works for me. That may not work for you, and that's okay. But we're in phase Sonya, we're in phase John, so whatever works for you, works for you. I have rules, right? There are certain rules that I won't do. When I'm home and I'm in routine, very seldom do I have white flour. Very seldom do I have white sugar. Very seldom, almost never will I eat something that someone can pass through a window to me, right? I just won't do that because I recognize that for me, that's an old behavior. And that's an old behavior that I don't want to bring back into my life, right?
Sonya, I go back to the stories that you've told it many times, but on the show of when you first were working with Julie.
Yeah.
And she asked you, and so where did you stop on the way? Yeah. Well, I went here, and okay. And then where? And you kept saying that. I'm like, surely she didn't stop again. Right. And yet you did. Right.
Yes. Right.
And I was just talking about this with someone else. I'm like, you have to make a rule with yourself. You don't drive through anything.
Right.
Right. I mean, literally, and this person has a 45-minute commute at least. And I'm just like, you just have to make that rule. We have to make rules with ourselves,
right,
in order to thrive. If we don't have those bumpers.
Yep. That's exactly right. And here's the issue. And here is where the rubber meets the road for our clients, is that we have to follow the rules. When your children were growing up and they go up to a light socket and they're like, Daddy, look, and they want to put their finger in the light socket, right? And you say, no, you can't do that. I want to do it. No, you can't do it. I want to do it. You never said, all right, go ahead. Let's just see what happens.
I know, right?
You never did that. But for us, we've got that inner 3-year-old that says, I deserve it, or I want it, and I want it now. And we have to be willing to say, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to sacrifice good for great. You're not going to sacrifice your future for what you want now. You're not going to do that. And guess what? We are the only ones that can hold ourselves accountable. People say to me all the time, man, I would love to have you in my ear all the time. I said,
yes,
no, you would not. I'm a nightmare, right? I mean, I'm an absolute nightmare. You wouldn't want that. But
little Sonya on your
what'd you say?
Little Sonya on your shoulder.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. But what you do want is the ability to do that for yourself. That's what I've done. And John, I'm going to be honest with you. That's what Ideal Protein gave me. A lot of people look at our product back there and they think, oh, I just see all the things that I can't have. It's all to when they think about it, it's about the inner 3-year-old saying, well, I can't have this and I can't have that. I don't see that as shackles. I see that as freedom, right?
Boom.
I see it as freedom because it allows me to live the life that I've always wanted to live since I was a 7th grade little girl. Right? So what Ideal Protein has done has allowed me to create a formula, create a habit, create a routine that works for my current lifestyle, doing whatever I want to do, wherever I want to go. Now, do I live like this all the time? No, I don't. The last 2 weekends, I've spent 2 weekends gone, right? So I've told you that my happy weight is 183. Yep. My trigger weight, I only give myself 2 pounds. My trigger weight is 185. I've had about 2 weeks of travel. I was at Charlotte, North Carolina for a long weekend, and then I was in Orlando for a long weekend, right? And I pretty much ate what I wanted to eat. Now, I lead a typically pretty low carb lifestyle when I'm home, right? Yep. So I live about 183. I got home from Orlando on Monday morning, right? On Monday. Yep. Tuesday, I get on the scale. It says 189. Whoop! I said,
carb tank full.
One at a time, please. I'm like, oh no. So do you know what I did on Tuesday? And this is how I live it. This is it. 189 to me signifies you're out of control. Phase 1. Boom. I'm in phase 1. I live in phase 1 until I hit about 180. Then I'm right back into phase 3 or phase Sonya, right?
Yeah.
I have to go. And I've done that enough that I'm comfortable with it. And that's why I say to people, figure it out. Let us help you figure this out. We've got the science. We've proven that it works. It works. But it doesn't work unless you work it. Right? So as you work it, you define what works well for you and your coach. It's fail-proof, right? It's foolproof.
Yep.
So I went back down. Like I said, Tuesday, boom, I was right back on phase 3. And I recognize, and this is what I think is important for people. I recognize that I went from, 183 to 189, right? Which is 6 pounds. I also recognize that's not 6 pounds of fat. I typically have a low carb lifestyle. And I recognize when I drink a bunch of water and flush a lot of that water weight out and I get back into my low carb lifestyle, I'm up about 3 pounds. This morning I was 182, right? So, here's the thing. That's how I live it. I don't let my trigger weight get out of hand because that's how I live my life. The scale, and I've said this on your podcast before.
Oh, yeah.
Scale will never hold me hostage again. It will forever hold me accountable. It will ever make me mindful of my choices, but it will never hold me hostage. I found freedom in Ideal Protein. I find freedom in stepping on the scale in the morning. I find freedom in being able to live my life the way that I want it and walk in my purpose. And what is my purpose? My purpose is to help others fulfill their destiny, just like I'm fulfilling mine. I'm
just going to let that sit for a little bit. Absolutely.
It's what we do, John, right? It's what we do. The people who come through our doors, they're not used to being great. In this area, now they're great in so many other areas, right?
Oh, right.
CEOs, they're great neighbors, they're great wives, they're great husbands, they're great daughters, they're great professors. I'm a great professor. I love what I get to do. And I stand in front of my kids and I talk about wellness at Greenville University. I love that. I'm great at it.
Yeah.
However, what I was never great at was anticipating what's to come next in the area of wellness. So I'm always chasing, I was always chasing the next best thing. Is it a GLP-1? Is it this diet? Is it that diet? What's out there that I should be trying? Is it this product? Is it this thing?
Yep.
Is it And it's like you're chasing your tail all the time instead of getting great at what we know works. And I know that I just set you up for a segue into GLP-1.
So, and I do this in my workshop too. The elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
And I have had more than one person ask me, when they see you thriving, looking your best, sounding your best, all the things, there's a back current now. And the back current is Sonya taking the GLP-1 medication?
Okay.
Is that what has finally given her this fearlessness?
No, it's not. However, this is what I'll tell you. The GLP-1s have certainly impacted my business, right? It's impacted all of us. However, for me, I had so many clients and so many friends and stuff say, this is the miracle drug. And I've seen it do great things for a lot of people. I'm not anti it at all. But what I did was, maybe it was, holy cow. I want to be honest. It may have been a year and a half ago-ish. I said, my clients are trying this. I want to try it. I want to try it. So I found a med spa and I said, I want to try this. I tried semaglutide, I tried tirzepatide, and I tried it because what I wanted to do is see if it really did do for me what it did for them. And for a lot of people, what they talked about is it shut off the food noise, right?
That's one of the most common things that I hear people want.
Yes.
And I hear people say that's what it's done.
Yes, I agree. A good friend of mine believes that it is the wonder drug because it has shut off her food noise. She doesn't really think about food as much. That never happened for me. Never. Now, I will tell you, I tried them both, went up to the max dosage on both, and it did not help me. It never turned off the food noise. It never made me feel like I wasn't battling my eating disorder. Furthermore, I didn't have any of the negative side effects either, which a lot of the people who are coming back into my clinic now are like, I couldn't deal with the diarrhea. I couldn't deal with the constipation. I couldn't deal with the vomiting. I couldn't deal with just feeling. And honestly, when some of them came back in, they said, I've lost so much muscle, right? Which you don't want. We need our muscle. So did I try it? Absolutely. Did I continue with it? Absolutely not. Because I've been successful with Ideal Protein. It does the same thing. It does the exact same thing. And I don't have to inject myself, right? Now, I have tried it, and I've tried a few different cocktails of it a few different times, but it just didn't do for me what I wanted it to do. So I just stick with what I know works.
And that's kind of the story and the experience that I've heard most and that I see actually in my office. I haven't seen anybody who are taking or tried the drug that it changed their behaviors one bit, other than one person, she's just repulsed by the thought of eating. And on the backside, like that's not, wow. I can't imagine living life that way.
You know what? I can't either. My dad is on semaglutide, and he's on that because he's a type 2 diabetic, right? And my dad is 74 years old, and he loves to eat. He's a country farm boy, right? And for him to sit across from you and eat 4 or 5 bites and not want to eat anymore, for me, it's actually sad because it is one of the areas where he enjoyed life, and he doesn't feel that as much anymore. But it has controlled his A1C, and so he continues with it. But no, for me, it did not work the way that I wanted it to, or the way that I can't necessarily say. Yeah, I guess I can say that with integrity, because for me, with my eating disorder, I wanted it to turn off that food noise, because I battle my eating disorder, John, every day. Unless the Lord comes back and heals me of that, unless he says, nope, you're done with it, I will battle this until the day I die. However, I'm so grateful for my addiction. right? My addiction doesn't have me laying in front of a library asking for the next hit. My addiction, you can say to an alcoholic, don't go into the bar. You can say to a cocaine addict, don't snort it. You can't really say to a food addict, don't eat, right? You can't say to someone who really struggles with food. We have to create healthy boundaries around food. And that's what I've done. I liken this journey that I'm on right now to the same one that I was on when I was on The Biggest Loser. Our trainers would take us, Jen would take me through workouts. Now, I was a semi-professional athlete. I played college softball and soccer. Okay.
Yeah.
I know
what. Oh, I didn't know the soccer part.
Yeah. That's a whole fun story. But anyway,
I'm sure it is.
Never. And then I go and I'm playing a Powerpuff football game and I make a diving catch in the end zone. And the soccer coach comes over and says, you have to play for me. I said, absolutely not. You fools run too much. No. He's like, give me 1 week. If you don't love it, then you can walk away. I went back to soccer camp, fell in love with it, played 4 years varsity.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I say all that to say, I know what it means to work out and work out hard. I know what it means to throw up after practice, right?
Yeah, right.
But I did not know how intense I would work out on The Biggest Loser. And they pushed us so hard. And when we walked out of those workouts, man, you feel like you can conquer the world. You're like, let's go, right? Yeah. And now with Ideal Protein and with this protocol and me doing this as long as I have, I'm like, let's go. Whatever's next, let's go, right? We have to help people realize this shouldn't be the best kept secret, right? Ideal Protein is out there. It is ready for you. All you have to do is start. But like Willie McGinnis told us on the show, he said, you don't have to be great to start, but man, you have to start to be great. And when you start great, right? Then you continue to be great and you build those foundations. And then you finally, because when you're standing on sand, right? You're standing on sand, it's wishy-washy. You stand on rock, you're like, come on, let's go, bring it. And that's what your foundation is. And that's what you build. So you don't have to be great to start, but man, you do have to start to be great.
Dropping bombs right and left. I love this. Thank you so much, Sonya. Oh my God. Like I'm gonna leave the studio today and I'm gonna be like, okay, let's go. Like I could run through a wall right now.
Yeah, and John, that's it, right? That's it. We get to empower, motivate, inspire our people to run through their wall. One of the things that I say oftentimes in the speaking gigs that I do is, we get to encourage people to stand at the base of a mountain and look at it and say, I can move you and I will. That's what The Biggest Loser gave me. That's what Ideal Protein has given me. Why wouldn't we want to share that with the next person? We lived lives that were diseased, that were sick, where we felt terrible, not just physically, but felt terribly about who we are, 100%. Right? I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to do that. And, we talk about our why so often. Most people think that my why, the reason why I wanted to start a weight loss clinic, why I wanted to start an Ideal Protein clinic is because I want to help people lose weight, because I want to pay it forward. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. But our why is the thing that's under the thing that's under the thing that's under the thing that we don't even like to talk about, right? My real why is I don't want anybody to ever feel about themselves the way that I felt about me. I don't want people to hang their heads. I don't want people to feel like they have nothing to offer. I don't want people to feel like they're not worthy of love and a relationship. I don't want people to feel like they're worthless. I don't want people to feel like they have nothing to offer because they don't like who they are physically. And that's the thing about weight. Weight loss is not the key to happiness, but what it is, it's the key to unlocking the first door to a world of possibilities that you never knew existed, right? I never knew I could love this. I never knew I could live this lifestyle. I never knew that I would walk in freedom from this, but praise God, I do. And we've got that for every single client that walks through our doors. Why wouldn't we shout it from the mountaintops? Why wouldn't we help them take the next step and hold their hand through the next step and the next step? Because it's scary and we expect to lose. We expect to fail, but you don't have to, because one of our themes, one of our Ideal Protein mottos is this time will be different. Let's do it, right? Let's do it.
Right.
If it's going to be different, then we've got to start somewhere. And then you start and you keep rolling. And it's like a snowball effect. And once you get to good, then you get to be great. Then you get to be exceptional. Then there's no looking back. Why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we give this to everyone?
You did it. I'm crying. You know,
I'm about to
you
have to
know,
take it, aren't I?
when you say that, right? When you talk about feeling the way that you feel,
Yeah.
right? Like I use this before and after picture
There it is.
because people don't necessarily understand how much weight I had to lose.
Right.
But I look into his eyes and
Yep.
I feel those feelings,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that's exactly why we do what we do. That's
Yes.
exactly why I converted my entire clinic
Right.
to this,
Yeah.
because I know that there are people out there. And here's the backside of that, right? When you see somebody who's regained it,
Yeah.
when you see somebody who you haven't seen, they disappeared on you,
Yeah.
and you see them 8 months later and the 80 pounds is back,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You know exactly how they feel inside. And
Yeah.
they're wearing that sadness. They're wearing that, like you said, that thing that's underneath.
Yeah.
They're wearing that on the outside, and we get that.
That's it, right? I say this oftentimes, I'm the only contestant from my season who's remained at a healthy weight post show without having gastric bypass, right? Or
Yeah.
having stomach surgery. Now, I don't know if I can say that, in the GLP worlds now, so on and so forth. But what I can tell you is that I've seen the devastation of former Biggest Loser contestants who
Yeah.
put it all back on plus some. And you don't know what it feels like until you're pushing a shopping cart through the store and you see someone and you think, oh my goodness, I'm up 15 pounds. I'm going to go this way. Go
Right.
back to your picture. Would you pull your picture up? The fact that we consistently hold something in front of us, right?
Yeah, right.
The fact that we're behind the picture,
Right.
you can see our faces, but we sure don't want you to see our bodies, right?
Right.
And that is a shame thing. That's guilt and that's shame. And I know I've talked about this before, but guilt and shame are different, right?
Yes.
Guilt
Yes.
is I feel guilty about eating whatever that little thing is that you're holding. I feel guilty about driving through Krispy Kreme, getting a box of donuts and eating them. Shame is completely different. Shame is what you wear and you own it. I'm a terrible person because I can't not say no to a donut, right?
Yeah.
And that shame is what keeps people from their purpose. That shame is what keeps people from being
Right.
great. That shame will make you not go out in the evening when a friend invites you for dinner. No, I think I'll just stay home, right? Because John, it's beyond embarrassment. It's wanting to almost become a recluse, right?
Yep.
And almost want to stay in your home and stay in your hole so that the eyes aren't on you. And I say this all the time, man. I hated who I was before. Right now, I like myself so much I'm dangerous, right? It's one of those things where if that's what we can give to our people, to let go of the shame, let go of the guilt, let go of the past, right? If you can let go of that and live in your future, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you take the next step? We've got everything in our palm that will help you be successful. Man, call us, reach out to us, talk to a coach that knows. And you know what I love that Dr. Tran says so often?
What's
He says,
that?
Ideal protein is more than a product. It's a movement.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What is that movement? That movement is moving you from good to great. That movement is empowering you to lead a life that you knew not of, leading you to lead a lifestyle where you feel like you're no longer bound by shackles, but you are free to walk in health and wholeness and smile and say, man, I can do this. Ideal Protein, with your coach and with the people that you do life with,
Yep.
this is more than a product. This is more than a supplement. This is a movement. This is a move. Let's move, right? Let's do it. Why wouldn't we?
Well, and again, that's life possible is what you're talking about, right? And I love the fact that we have our own term for that.
Right.
Why wouldn't you move towards that life possible?
Yeah.
Why would you put it off any longer? Why would you waste those years?
Yeah.
But it is possible. And this is why I talk about Ideal Protein Nation, right?
That's right. That's right.
It is the movement.
It's the
It
movement.
is a community.
That's right.
Right?
You know, a lot of people, you know, we've asked the question, why wouldn't you do it? And I understand the fear. I understand the fear of failure. I understand the fear of not wanting to invest more money, time, energy. I understand that. However, when I look back on my journey, the night before I left for Biggest Loser, I almost let fear stop me. And I almost let it stop me because I was trying to make it make sense. I should be able, here we go. I should lose the weight on my own.
Yes.
I should be able to handle this on my own.
Yep.
I should be able to do all of these things on my own. So I'm not going to go. And the bottom line is it was fear. And I almost let fear keep me from one of the greatest decisions of my life because I was scared, not because I was cautious, not because I was just doing, not just because I was, you know, a little bit afraid of this. I almost let fear keep me from the greatest journey, one of the greatest journeys of my entire life. Right. We can't do that. We have to allow ourselves the opportunity to be coached by someone. John, I'm a great coach. I know that. God has wired me up in such a way. I'm a great coach. I can coach you to want to run through a glass window and come back and be like, let's do it. Let's do it all again, right? Cuts, bloody, all that. I can coach you to do that. I'm a great coach for everybody except for me. Right? That's why Ideal Protein works, because we're partnered with someone that we love and that loves us. And for heaven's sake, it's because we can't let fear stop us from becoming great. And that's the issue. Don't let fear stop you.
You know, it just brings to mind too, one of the best things that I heard that I use all the time is we need somebody in our life that believes in us more than we believe in ourselves.
That's it.
And I think that defines the Ideal Protein coach.
That's it in a nutshell. When I was on the show, that's what Jen started in me, right? Like before I went on the show, I was a coach. The year before I left, I was the state championship coach of a 4x4 relay team and a junior high softball team, right? So what I was able to do was I was able to see that in my girls, and I was able to propel them into a world that they knew not of. I was able to give them belief in themselves that they didn't know. I couldn't do that for me. It took me going to LA, you know, and getting on the show and then having another coach who is personalized, who knows me, who loves me beyond me, who looked beyond what I was to see my potential and say, yes, you can, right? And believe in me like I could not believe in myself. And what that fostered in me was enough belief that when I left the show, took me a while, but then I could do it for myself. That's why, going full circle, don't give up before your miracle is in front of you, right? Don't give up. Don't give up when it would be easier to give in. And don't give in when it would be easier to give up. Because what you have to do is create that belief in yourself, that foundational knowledge of, yes, I can. Yes, I can do this. Because people are really good at believing in others. They're not often great at believing in themselves. And that's what the Ideal Protein movement does.
Again, I have to let these things just sit because So powerful. You know, how often does somebody come in and sit in your office for their initial consultation? And you literally can just see the potential inside there. You
Oh,
literally, right? And but my question to you as a coach is, how do you not scare them off? Because I'm always like, oh my God, this is going to be so great. We can help you with that. And they're kind of like, okay, right? Because you just get so excited about it.
oh, right. Yeah. How do I not scare them off? I just apologize. I mean, I just apologize because I am like all the time, right? I mean,
Right,
I do
right.
everything when I'm like, hey, let's do this. We can do this and this and this, and we can customize this and blah. And they're like, whoa. I haven't had one guy say to me, I don't think that I'm going to be as excited about this process as you are. Absolutely. I'm enough excited for both of us, right? But I got an email from a friend of mine today who I work with at my mobile location, and she said just what we're talking about. She said, I walked into Sonya's office and I was scared, and I knew that I couldn't do it, and I knew that I just felt like this is something that was beyond me. I thought I'll give it a shot, but I don't think it's going to work. And John, the reason why she emailed me is because yesterday she hit 100 pounds down,
Oh my
right?
God, right?
And
It's
so
not 20, it's
no, it's
wow.
100 pounds down from a woman who didn't think she could do it in the first place. And so the first few weeks is me, maybe even the first months, is us fueling them and saying, man, I got you. I understand. I get it. But let's do it together. And, for a while, so some of the things that I've said to my clients is, listen, if you feel like you're going to go off protocol, that's fine. But I need you to text me before you go off protocol. Before you eat something off protocol, text me. They're like, well, then I won't do it. I'm like, right.
Right.
But I also recognize that if you tell me that you're going to call me or you're going to text me, that you'll actually do it before you go off. And so things like that. And that's why coaching is so powerful, right? It's because we see we believe in them long before they ever could. And that's what peeling back those layers are, and then helping them stay in the battle. Because here's the thing, I loved, I forgot the gentleman's name who you had on recently, but he talked about the fact that there's no end game. There's no end line. There's no finish line. I will deal with this forever. And that's okay, right? We all have our vices. Everybody has a vice. For some people, it's alcohol. For some people, it's gambling. For some people, it's porn. For some people, it's all the things, right?
Yep.
Everybody has a vice. Food is mine, but you can bet that it will never beat me again. Never. Now, I have to create a healthy relationship with food, right?
Yes.
And that takes time. That takes time. And that's why we come back again. Don't give up before you get there. Don't give up before you feel like you're in control, right? And so when you feel like you're in control, no one can take that away from you. No one. Doesn't matter what they put in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that warms my heart that you listened to Dr. Rob Sivas.
Yeah,
He's known as the carb addiction doc. And he is a kindred spirit, Sonya. Oh my God. Like I've interviewed some people lately that are heroes of mine. He's certainly one of them.
Yeah.
But he and I had a connection because he's a kindred spirit in this way. It's his journey first.
Yeah.
Right. And it's his journey that led him to want to help as many people as he can.
Yeah.
And in just the hugest way. He truly is an amazing guy. And it works. I love that you listen to the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, here's the thing. My journey was in front of 5 million people on NBC, right?
Yeah.
But here's the bottom line. Your journey and all of our clients' journeys are just as important as mine, right? Now, your journey probably and other clients, you didn't have to stand on, a scale in a sports bra and spandex in front of 5 million.
Let's just show everybody again, right?
Yeah. I mean, but your journey is just as important to mine as mine. But you know what? Your journey is more important than mine in your life and in the lives of the people that you impact every day. My journey means nothing to them, but your journey means something to the people that you come in contact with, right? There are people that you can influence that I never could. There are people that I can influence that you never could. It's the same thing with our clients, right? Their journeys, and that's what I need to get. That's what we need to get across to them, is that your journey is just that. It's your journey, and it's so important. And that's why I want our Ideal Protein Nation, I want every one of them to recognize, to get good. To start being good is one thing, but that just leads you to being great. And that takes time, and that takes consistency. And there's so many things to getting healthy emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. That is getting rid of undue stresses that you don't need, whether it's an undue stress, an undue, a relationship that you didn't need. Maybe it was I don't know, anything, a sport.
A job you didn't, a sport, yes.
Yeah, anything that's holding you back from your God-given purpose, get rid of it, right? Yeah. You got to keep the main thing, the main thing.
Yeah, one of my last shows, Martin Gillespie, one of the things that the term that he uses, we like to talk about, you said metabolic health earlier, and I was like jumping for joy inside, but metabolic well-being. Metabolic well-being, I think, when he said that, and he uses that in his upcoming book and all, what a concept there. And that's exactly what you just spoke to, is well-being is body, mind, spirit, right? It's all encompassing, and that's what we're after.
Yeah, and if you're not healthy in all of those areas, you're not healthy, period. Right. There are a lot of very skinny, unhealthy people walking around, right? And so what we have to do is be able to look at the whole person and say, let's figure this out. What is keeping you from being the absolute best version of yourself that you can be? Because again, weight loss is not the key to happiness, but it is the key to unlocking the first door to a world of possibilities that you never believed for yourself. You believed it for other people, but you didn't believe it for yourself. And that's why being healthy in every area is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you to address one last thing for me. And we'll bring this show in for a landing, although we could probably go for another hour or two.
Right.
So Rob also touched on the oxygen mask theory, right? So many people, right? And especially moms.
Yeah.
So many people I just started a new patient this week, and she's like, I've got this, I've got that, my kids, and this, and we got to go here, we got to go there. No, I didn't look at this. No, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? Yes. And then put the oxygen masks on the other people, because if you don't put that oxygen mask on you, you're not going to be there for them.
That's exactly right. Yes. It is, we have a very, very busy lifestyle. All of us, moms, dads, friends.
It's the American way.
Yeah, it is. It's the American way. And we are kidding ourselves if we think we're going to find time to take care of ourselves. You can't find time. You have to create time to take care of you. I do not come out of the door of my house unless I have had my first 15. What is that? For me, it's making sure I spend time in worship, making time I spend time in prayer, and reading my Bible. If I don't do that, I'm no good to anybody the rest of the day. I have to create the time to take care of me. And I also have to recognize what is my best yes, because John, here's what happens. We say yes to so many things because, and me, I'm a single female, right? I'm 50 years old. I've never been in a long-term relationship. I'm a single female, which means I feel like I'm pretty independent, right? Like I'm your go-to girl. If you need something done, I'm going to get it done. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
But what I've recognized is that desire to want to be there for everyone else creates the deficit in allowing me to be who God's called me to be. And so for me, I have to be able to save my yes for my best yes, right? And we act like a lot of times when we say yes to everything, we act like that doesn't take away from other areas, but it does.
Yeah,
and it takes away typically areas in relationship with those that we are closest to. And those are the ones who wind up getting the short end of the stick. So the oxygen mask, you have to take care of you, or you're never going to be able to take care of the people that mean the world to you. Right. And because we're so tired sometimes, we're so bogged down, we're going from meeting to meeting. And I get it. I live the hamster wheel lifestyle, but I will tell you, like, I'm not teaching this summer other than one online class. I'm working in my clinics and I'm trying to ramp up some stuff there. But here's what I'll tell you. I've kind of deemed this summer as a summer of Sonya.
I love it.
Means I'm kind of doing the things that I want to do. I'm not filling my schedule. This is kind of a respite time for me. I also, I honor the Sabbath. I make sure that on Sundays, I just don't do much. I go to church, I serve there, and then I come home and I chill out pretty much the rest of the day. And if we don't take time for ourselves and put the oxygen mask on us, we're doing everybody else who we desperately want to take care of a huge disservice. So you're spot on. You're spot on.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Because I knew that was something that was near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
And again,
what do I do? I'm a full-time college professor at Greenville University. I own and operate 2 weight loss clinics. I have a mobile clinic. I coach people virtually, and I'm a full-time caregiver of my parents, right? My dad is a mess physically. My mom, there she is. My mom has Alzheimer's, but the old goat's still kicking and she's as happy, right? And so what I find is that when I get so busy, that I don't take care of them the way that I should. I believe that I'm a good daughter, and I believe that God tells us to honor our parents, and I want to do that, but I don't just want to do that. I want to do it well, right? So all of the things that I have going consistently, plus I have friends who I love. I've got 5 pit bulls. I've got all the things that I love to do.
Wait.
There's my boy, right? Big guy. That's my Rocky. He's the top dog at our clinic.
Yes.
But if I'm not creating time and making time to take care of myself, then I'm doing the others a disservice, right?
Again, I put this picture of you and Mom in there. I love Mom as a part of all of your social media.
Yeah.
She's so awesome.
She's awesome.
But this picture of you too, it highlights like, oh my God, you're thriving. You look like you're happy, you're healthy, you're thriving. And I loved that picture. Hey, and we'll land the plane on this one too. Like what? This is your new profile picture.
That's right. Oh my gosh. So I am 50 years old. I think I've said that. I think I've decided that riding a roller coasters like 20 times in one day may be better for like my little cousin there who's 16 years old, right? But we had a ball. We had a great time. But John, I am thriving. I have allowed myself the freedom to live life possible, and I know it's cliche. I get it. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, shut up, lady. No. But it's true, right? Yeah. I am thriving spiritually. I'm thriving emotionally. I'm thriving mentally, and I'm thriving physically, right? Yeah. But I got to tell you, until I was thriving emotionally and mentally and spiritually, I was not thriving physically, right? Because here's the thing. Remember this. People see our addiction, right? People see when things aren't going well in my world because I put the weight back on.
You wear it. Yep.
Yeah. And so we wear our addiction, which Sonya's up. It looks like she's up maybe 20 pounds or so. Things must not be going well, right? And,
right. Yeah.
And that's fair. However, if I passed an alcoholic, I wouldn't know that that was their struggle unless they told me, right? But you
Right.
see our addiction, and that's why it's so fun to help people break that addiction. So I have Julie in my clinic, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we recognize that not everybody who comes through our clinic has an eating disorder, but they certainly have disordered eating. So let's help you get in front of that, right? Let's help you battle that. Let's help you use the perfect protocol through Ideal Protein with your coach and
Right.
help you recognize that there's an emotional tie to food. Let's break that and let's go forth, man. Let's go forth and make it happen, because we know that Ideal Protein, it's the magic pill. It's the magic potion. It's the magic everything to helping us stay physically, metabolically sound. And we work on getting healthy body, mind, spirit. There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
Life possible, baby.
Life possible. Life possible beyond what you believed was ever possible for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when somebody gets there, it's so amazing to see.
Yeah. And you know, like we said earlier, the battle's never over. That's what I loved about your guest. The battle is never over, but you show up and you fight every single day. And there are people who would say, I don't want to fight it every day. Okay, so do you want to give up? No, but it gets tiring. Yeah, it's hard. And that's where we go back to choose your hard, right? It's hard to choose salmon and broccoli. It's hard, you know, a friend of mine who I coach, I wish I could go back to the exact text, but she's a teacher. I love her so much. She's on phase 1. She's like, oh my gosh, I have to get this 15 pounds off, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, come in, let's go. So she came back, she got on phase 1.
Yeah.
She said, she texted me and she said, Sonya, it is so hard to be on phase 1 during teacher appreciation.
Yeah. Yes.
This was my life. She had cookies, she had cake, she had soda, she had all the things. I mean, these big baskets, right?
Oh my God.
She's like, it's so hard to be a teacher during teacher appreciation week when you're on phase 1. And I said, you know what? You are so right. It is hard to be a teacher on phase 1 during teacher appreciation week. I said, but do you know what else is hard? I said, it's hard when you feel like a failure because you've given up. It's hard when your jeans don't fit. It's hard to go up an extra size of clothing. It's also hard to not like the skin you're in. And then because I have this relationship with her, I said, is there anything else that you would care to discuss? And she typed back and she said, nope, I'll just be back here in my place where you put me. And I said, I love you so much, you know? And that's it. That's it. It's all perspective, John. It's all hard. Choose the hard that's going to work best for you. Choose the hard that's going to work best for you, and choose the hard that's going to make you feel great about you. Because as we all know, God don't make no junk, right? And
amen, sister.
A purpose. You were created for a reason, and go stinking get it.
And at that, we're going to drop the mic. Sonya Jones, ladies and gentlemen, Ideal Protein Nation, please download this episode, keep it right at the front of the line, and listen to it weekly.
Yeah. And believe in you, man. Believe in you, because you're the only you that will ever be. You're the only you that will ever be. And we need more of you. Well, maybe less of you physically. But we need more of you out there.
You.
Yeah. Of just,
you're inside there. It's not
creating change, creating the life that you love, because it's contagious. It's contagious.
100%. Thank you again, Sonya, for your time, your energy, your spirit. It's going to do so much good as we get this out there to Ideal Protein Nation.
Well, John, thank you for doing this podcast. Thank you for your role in Ideal Protein. And it is because of you and people like you that we are still going, and the future is bright for Ideal Protein. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope that we actually get together soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we got to do it. All right, kiddo. I'm gonna send you backstage. Hang out there and let me land the plane.
Sounds good. Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Thank you. She never disappoints. right? And I think she always exceeds expectations. Man, what an amazing hour that was. Like I said, I literally, I'll put it at the top of my list, and I'm going to listen to that often, because there were so many inspirational things there. I hope that you heard something that inspires you no matter what part of your journey you're in. Please get in touch with your Ideal Protein coach, clinic. Get back in there, do the little reset that's necessary, get back on your course for Life Possible, and let's just start going for it again. You only fail if you give up.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Life Possible podcast, where we unlock the power of metabolic health to fuel your best life. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and download the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if this message resonated with you, share it to someone who needs to hear it. Let's spread the power of life possible together. For more inspiration, insights, and exclusive content, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in. Keep striving, keep thriving, and remember, your best life is within reach.